Bluff City NIL is an official partner of Coaching for Literacy, a nonprofit organization using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. You can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on any social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your donations to Bluff City NIL are 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. So we thank you guys for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, TJ Willis and Trey Lasley. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
TJ! Another day, another dollar. What up, my man?
Hey, I cannot complain. I cannot complain.
Well, Monday night, we in the middle of the Natty is underway. And I think last week, what did we both say? It was going to be UConn, and it's looking like we're right. I think they're up 12 at half. They were up by as many as 16 in the first half. That's good for my parlay. I had them minus 3.5 in the first. Tell the fine folks listening and watching this evening what we will be sipping on.
This is Grind City Brewing, Poppy's Pills, an American Pilsner.
American Pill. Is this their answer to Wiseacre's Tiny Bomb?
Perhaps. It all started at a Christmas Eve family dinner, you know?
What?
I'm reading the can.
Oh, wow. I see that. Poppy's Pills. It all started at a Christmas Eve family dinner. Pops and Poppy were enjoying this Pilsner by the fire. Pop said that this was the best beer he had, and Poppy couldn't get enough of it. The conversation shifted to health, and Poppy looked at Pops and said, "This Pilsner is the only medicine I need." Everyone in the room paused and said out loud, "Poppy's Pills." The rest is history. You believe that story?
Whose name is Poppy? No. Whose name is Poppy?
Well, it does say just what the doctor ordered, though, at the top. See that?
Yeah, we can't. I'll get back into it later. We'll touch.
This is a fine American Pilsner.
You're just reading the can, Trey.
No, that came to me after that sip.
All right, what's going on? What's on the slate today?
Like a fine American Pilsner. Well, first off, the Final Four underway. We mentioned it, but TJ
nailed it, right?
Saturday, I needed it. I needed that. It's not a full redemption or revenge. We'll get that next season. But I needed the Owls of FAU to feel some heartbreak. And boy, did they experience heartbreak on Saturday evening in Houston. Just a buttery smooth jumper by San Diego State right there. The one and only true buzzer beater of the NCAA tournament so far.
Is that true?
Yeah, that shot went in as time expired. The only one. Some may have considered theirs a buzzer beater, but there were a couple seconds left, and we had an opportunity to get a shot off. So went through, clock struck 0. I needed it. It felt great. I mean, I jumped up out of my chair in celebration.
I mean, I didn't care either way. I think I like the storyline of the lower seed or the higher seeds, however you want to word that, kind of making it. So it's kind of a win-win for me. Whatever. I think you also have the bragging rights that a conference foe made it to the Final Four. So it was kind of a win-win, I guess.
Yeah, that is, I guess, the exciting, if you will, you want to call it that, is, yeah, you're adding a true Final Four team next year. And they should have, not only will Dusty, We Sleep in May be back, but they should have most of their team back, if I'm not mistaken. So we've talked about it before. They'll probably, I mean, depending on what you're able to do in the portal, which we'll get to in a minute, at least at this point in time, are probably the favorites for the American next year.
It's fair. I think it's fair.
Vegas favorites, I would say. The Owls of Boca Raton. So we'll see as we get closer to the season, if that sticks around, how this roster shapes up. Penny's doing work in the portal. We got a big week ahead. It's Monday. Later in the week, TJ, we got 4 official visits lined up for the Tigs. Thursday, you got a doubleheader with Caleb Mills, former Houston, and most recently Florida State guard 6'5" junior out of Arden, North Carolina. He will be visiting with Dayton forward 6'9", 225 from Finland, Mustapha Amzil.
Amzil's the one that I think out of everyone you're going to mention, that's the one I'm absolutely keying in on. I think that he fits a need that you have in multiple facets. He's got good size, I would say. I think he's 6'9", 220, 225, depending on where you're looking. Can hit the three. I'm excited about Amzil. I think they really need to lock that one down.
Yeah, I mean, not going to lie, at first, quick glance, 9.3 points, 5 boards, 1.5 assists, 44% from the field. He shot 37% from 3 this year, which is pretty good. But I'll tell you this, I was watching a little bit of highlight tape from him earlier, some scouting. Did not realize it. 1.24 points per possession when this man spots up from 3. 42% of the time down the floor. That's 94th percentile in the country when this dude spots up from 3.
Oh.
That's not bad. You talked about it all year long. Obviously, the team ended up, I would say, not as bad as we probably anticipated in the preseason from 3, but would have been nice to have somebody like Amzil out there that could knock down a spot-up Trey ball when KD was driving and then kicking out. But also to note, he would have been the second highest offensive rated player on this year's team, behind only DeAndre.
DeAndre, yeah.
If Amzil had been on the Tigers this year, I think he was like a 112.2 or something like that. DeAndre was a 115.
Okay.
KD was a 111. So Amzil, a very efficient offensive basketball player. Did you mention the size? So I think there are a lot of. It's not a big flashy like pickup by any means, but I think it fits some needs that you have.
Well, yeah, not only that, like we've talked about his size, he's a shooter. He doesn't foul very often. I think that, that's something we kind of overlook considering coming from the DeAndre era where you have a big man who's dropping out of games
Struggling to
kind of
stay on the
often.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that can stay on the court. I am a little concerned that he doesn't maybe rebound as much as you would want for a guy who's 6'10", but it seems like Dayton played him kind of at the perimeter a lot, not really putting him down low. Perhaps it's not his game. Not really sure. I can't say I watched too much Dayton basketball, but you'd want to see those rebound numbers go up a little bit. Maybe nothing crazy. 2 extra rebounds a game, something like that.
Sure. You mentioned him not fouling a lot. I will say he was ranked nationally. I mean, there's thousands of basketball players, but 450 in the country in free throw rate, 35.6% of the time. And get this, for a big man, he can knock his free throws down nearly 80%, 79.5% from the free throw line. Sign me up for that.
So underrated of a stat.
Sign me up for that. I don't know the last time we had I guess you count DeAndre, but even he came in over 80% to Memphis, so maybe that is something we need to watch if Amzil ends up signing. But we've struggled from the free throw line with big guys recently, so it'd be nice to have somebody that not only can knock them down, but he gets there at a pretty decent rate.
Sure.
All right, and his co-pilot and visiting on Thursday, and Caleb Mills, somebody we've got a little bit of familiarity with. We talked about him being at Houston, and I think he played 4 games only before transferring to Florida State, but played 32 games this season. Had a little bit of a down year from 3. He shot his previous 2 seasons where he played a full season, shot 35 and 37% from 3. This year, only 29.4. But he knocks his free throws down. The man can pass the basketball. 3.5 assists. He has an assist rate of 24% of his possessions, which is up there in terms of being able to get and facilitate to your teammates.
Yeah, good size, 6'5". I think he's probably more of a combo guard than he is an actual point guard. Kind of a loose definition of him being a guard kind of thing. I think he can control the ball, but I don't know if I would necessarily want him to be my main facilitator. But I mean, good size, seems athletic enough. I would definitely someone I would be very interested in.
And I'll say this, he's size-wise defensively, I think he will help you out, right? He's got his steal percentage 2.6% of the time, which is very good overall nationally. And I was watching some footage of him earlier. He positions himself very well defensively on the basketball court. And it's like he's just got great awareness, court awareness, and he kind of reads the pass defensively before the offense makes the pass. So a lot of times he's like slipping in right as the pass is being made and getting a steal, or kind of reading where the offensive player is trying to get to on the floor, and he beats him to the spot and is able to pick off a pass. So I think somebody definitely that, like you said, I don't know if it's your primary ball handler, maybe somebody that comes in and plays the 2 if you are able to land like a Quez, who we'll talk about in a second, who could be your primary ball handler. But
Sure.
I think for sure somebody that would help out on the defensive side. We saw a little bit of a slip this year defensively from the Tigers. They were a better offensive team than defensive team, which has not really been the playbook for Penny Hardaway and his Tigers. But I think Mills is definitely somebody that would be able to help on that defensive side of the floor.
You know, one thing that I think is intriguing about Mills, and there's kind of conflicting data on this, is he a grad transfer? Do we know? Because he's definitely a 2-time transfer, and I'm not sure we want to get into the situation of fighting
So
the
he's
NCAA for
yeah,
eligibility.
he's listed as a junior. He's played
Yeah,
3 full years. He played 4 games in 2020, 2021. So yeah, this may be somebody that I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that, but it feels like it would need a waiver.
he is a grad transfer. We're good.
He is a grad transfer. Okay.
Yep, he graduated 2022 in July. We're good.
All right. Well then, ready to rock and roll.
Social science degree. Very popular there in Tallahassee. Social science degree.
Wow. On 3, I'll say this, in their transfer portal rankings has Caleb as the 60th overall at a 92 grade. So a 4-star as far as transfer rankings go. Right now, they've got him 100% forecasted to be a Memphis Tiger.
Oh,
And I'll say this, if Penny gets guys on campus and he wants them, he's
I
been
feel
pretty
pretty good about our
successful
chances.
at landing them. So we'll see. I would not be shocked if there is news come Thursday night, Friday into Saturday, with all of these visits happening later in the week.
I'm seeing where he's at on 247 real quickly before we jump off.
I tried to look earlier, and it is
Not in the top
I wasn't
50.
able to find
It
him.
looks like.
No.
Yeah, interesting. It's pretty. I mean, he's a good enough player. I think he would definitely be in the top 50. I think on 3 had him in a pretty good spot. I mean, we're talking about a guy who averaged 13 points,
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about
3.4
what, like
assists.
1,300, 1,500 guys in the portal. I'll take the 60th rated overall guy for sure.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's because he sucks at defense, but we'll see.
All right, jumping into Friday, you got two more. I don't know if there'll be any overlapping. These four guys may be on campus Friday morning together, potentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as you move into Friday, you've got Quez Glover, the 6-foot point guard out of Knoxville, but currently playing for Samford. So another two-time guy because he originally started at Florida. He's been at Samford. And then visiting with him, Taofele, is that how you say it? TJ, correct me. We were trying to do this beforehand, and I've forgotten it.
Taofele. That's right.
Yeah.
Taofele.
Taofele Lenard will be in on Friday. So the sophomore from MTSU 6'7", 175 wing out of Snyder, Texas. Let's start with Quez.
Sure.
Teach, how do you feel about Quez? 14.5 points, 2.5 boards, 2 assists, 48% from the field. My guy shot 38% from three this year, 85% from the free throw line. I mean, on paper, it looks like it would be a good pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a great point. On paper, he looks great. The one thing that concerns me is it's another 6-foot guard. I really kind of want to get away from that. It's obviously more you can get away with it in college. We'll say that, right? I think where things get dicey is that people are still hitting the portal left and right, left and right. And if I'm going to go for a shorter guard with oh gosh, where's that kid? The kid from Oral Roberts that just hit the portal. Like I'm just going to prioritize him over anyone personally. But yeah, no, Quez is good. I think on paper he looks great. I think he'd fill right in. I think it's nice that you have him here at the same time Leonard's here. Anytime you can kind of pair these guys together, I think it kind of it helps you out, right? Because they kind of feed off each other's energy, and perhaps they can kind of say, "Let's do this. Let's come together," kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not like a flashy big name, I don't think. And people
Sure.
would say he struggled his first 2 years in Florida. Is it really? He's been at Samford playing in the Southern Conference. Is it? Has his numbers gone up? Has he looked better because of who he's playing against? Right, the level
Sure.
of competition. Mentioned it though, 37% from three. If you can knock down three balls, I don't think it
Sure.
matters who you're playing. Right, you get an open looks and you knock them down. Um, and then I mentioned a little bit. I watched some Quez earlier and
Mhm.
some scouting. He's 95th percentile in the country when he's the on ball. When he gets a ball screen and he's the ball handler. It's just over 1 point per possession, and he's shifty. He's quick. I wouldn't say he's necessarily Kendrick out there, but he can get to the rack, and
Yeah. Not
he
many
knows how
are.
to use a ball screen. I will say though, if you go into KenPom, you can look at click on players and look at every year that they've played statistically, and it'll also give you similar players, other players across the country, all throughout history that they were similar to. Quez is a freshman in Florida in 2020. You know who's listed first as his most similar uh, statistically counterpart is?
You're gonna say Kendrick or something silly like that. Yeah. I figured that
Freshman
was
freshman Kendrick Davis,
makes sense.
2019. Now that's a
I
freshman Kendrick Davis at TCU. That's not fifth year or even
sure.
fourth year senior Kendrick, but not a bad guy to be compared to.
Does it concern you that he only averages 2 assists a game? Is that anything that would like bother you?
Mm, I mean, I guess it's dependent upon what you're asking him to do. and what's
Sure.
around him, right? Like how much of that is him finding open guys and guys missing shots too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Fair.
a lot of times assists are, yes, one finding the guy making the right play, making a good pass, but it's not an assist unless the person makes the shot. So I'd have to see a little bit more to see if that's just not, if it's him not facilitating, him not being able to find guys, or if it's
Yeah.
more of the guys around him. But at this point in time, no. I mean, a 2.5 assist isn't terrible, right? I mean, he had, and I'm looking at this. He averaged 4.5 last season. So
Yeah.
that's 4.5 is pretty daggum good. I do see he only played 19 games this year. I guess he was
Yeah, I
hurt.
saw that. A little confused by that. I just assume it's always an injury anytime you see something like that. I think my one concern with him is I would with Admus or whatever his name is, the Oral Roberts kid.
Mhm.
I'm scared to pull the trigger so quickly on someone like that when I know there's a clear upgrade in the portal. And maybe Admus is not someone we can get. Whatever. I I still think I make that phone call, and maybe I kind of put the brakes on it on Glover, despite he's here. You know, what's the phrase about a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush or something like that? I feel like it's that entire scenario, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Perhaps I'm an oddball on Glover, right? I mean, he hits his free throws. He seems effective offensively. He hits threes. Like, what more could you ask for, right?
Yeah.
For me personally, it's the guy that shoots 37% from with 9 attempts from three a game. So I don't know.
Sure. And I think the other part of that, we've been talking so much about defense and trying to get back to, you know, those
Sure.
elite level defensive teams. How much is he really going to be able to provide on the defensive side as a smaller guard, right?
Sure.
Statistically, at least, he's not really there. He doesn't have a
Yeah.
great steal percentage. Obviously, basically non-existent block. I don't know that he's
Non-existent.
recorded a block.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the other part of it. But offensively and a ball handler, I think he would play the point guard position well, especially if he came in. You know, if you did end up getting um, even somebody like Ace Baldwin or something from VCU, like if he could come in and
Yeah.
played like a backup role a little bit. I don't know that he would want to come here as a fifth-year senior and do that, but you never know. All right, and then Lenard, MTSU transfer, sophomore, 6'7", 175, plays the wing. Now, talk about a defensive upgrade. This is your guy right here. Lenard is
Yeah.
the type of guy you need to get back to that elite level defense that Penny Hardaway's teams are known for. Not a huge flashy offensive guy. He did average 8.5 points, 4 boards, 1.5 assists. Shot 49% from the field, so not terrible. But from a defensive standpoint, he's got a 3.7% steal rate, which is good for 56 overall in the country, and then a 7.8% block rate, which is good for 42nd overall in the country. So the dude's taking cookies and then swatting stuff off the backboard.
Does he have you watched him yet?
I've watched, yes, some footage. He's very athletic and long.
I'm probably gonna catch stuff for this, but he kind of reminds me of DJ Steffens.
DJ Jeffries, Steffens.
DJ Steffens. Not senior year DJ, right? Not 3-point DJ, but the bounciness of the guy he's just gangly, right? If you see his arms, they're very long. He's able to make a lot of shots and kind of adjust his body mid-flight. He just kind of he favors DJ in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely He's not really. I mean, I will say some of what I watched was showing him hitting threes at first, so I was like, "Dang, can this dude shoot?" So I went and looked at it.
No.
He shot 23% from 3 this year on 2.5 attempts, but last year he did shoot 34%, so I think he can shoot the ball, but he's really more of a, yeah, dunk on you, finishing at the rim,
Yeah.
putbacks, lobs, just an athletic in the paint kinda guy, not necessarily a shooter. Which I think with Ashton, if Keontae comes back, if you're able to add Amzil, like even Caleb Mills or Quez, like you got, I think, plenty of shooters out there. So this is kind of that guy you need. It feels, and you said this before we started, I think he feels like a much more athletic Elijah in that role. Not the same
Sure.
guy, but in that like defensive, scrappy
Yeah.
hustle, kind of do everything else kind of guy. But then he's there and could have, a couple of big offensive plays with a putback dunk or dunk on somebody's head or, finishing something at the rim.
Yeah. I think his biggest benefit is going to be in transition, right? I think he's going to be a monster on the defensive side and just clearing the floor in transition. I think that's where he's probably going to do the most amount of his damage from the offensive perspective.
Yeah, and if he's getting steals, which I said 56th in the nation, so you look at it and you're like, man, that's really really good. What would that have been on Memphis last year? It'd have been second.
Probably pretty high up there. Yeah.
It'd have been second. Um, Behind. Do you know what Alex's was?
What? How many steals per game?
His steal percentage rate,
Oh
4.6%
no.
of the time possession, 16th in the country.
Is
Dude
that
was just
two a
stealing the
game?
basketball all the
Three,
time.
three a game? What's the number there?
I think
Math.
it's roughly almost 3, yeah.
No, I like Leonard. I think Leonard would be a good mix. I think if you're taking Leonard, you're probably not going to get Keontae back. And I'm not saying that because Leonard plays the two or anything like that. I just think how it's going to
Hmm,
pan out.
I don't know that I
But
like that. If you're telling me that, I don't know that I want it. A straight up trade, Keontae for Leonard, I don't know that I want that.
I don't look if I'm.
I think
I
you
don't think
become better
Keontae's
defensively,
transferring.
but worse offensively.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
could.
he is either. I agree with you.
I think if he, I mean, he could try to go pro. There's plenty of countries. I'm not going to say Turkey again and have you rip into me, but
Well, you
I
just
mean,
said
there's
it, so
like, dude, I don't know. I think that you could put together a pretty sizable roster. I mean, Leonard is what 6'7".
yeah.
Nick Jourdain is 6'8". You're putting together just those two
Amzil's
positions.
6'9",
Six
Mills is
nine for Amzil.
6'5".
Like the
Yeah,
size that you're putting together just off of potential is crazy. And I
right.
think that if you can put him at the three, um, likely Jourdain at the four. I'm not sure he'll start. I'm trying to think. It's so early. It's kind of hard to say. Amzil could play four. Malcolm could play five. I mean, you just have so many options, right? Assuming
Oh,
he comes
Malcolm, you're
back, of
going to
course.
get Ware at the 5.
Kalel Ware, it's fine. I
Oh,
mean, there's
yeah.
so many options right now. But my point is, at 6'7", you could do a lot of different things with him. A lot of different things. I don't know what his wingspan is, but I'm sure that will also play into this as well.
I'm willing to bet it's at least 6'7",
I would imagine
probably
he's definitely
longer.
a plus. I'm gonna look it up real quickly. I'm just curious for S's and
Now, it
G's.
definitely feels like Penny's wanting to get back to that long, athletic roster. Just make it very difficult defensively. And I'll say this, Leonard on 3 is the 25th overall transfer in the portal. And then the Athletic, I don't know if you saw this. I think you did. I sent it to you earlier. The Athletics got him listed at 38,
Wow.
mostly because of his uh, defensive play. They call him elite length. and all sorts of bounds. He flies all over the court, finishes drastically above the rim as a cutter. So a cutter, it makes me think of Elijah, but like we said, a little bit more athletic. So those layups are turning into posters on people's heads. But it says his athleticism and length makes him a massive impact on defense, slides around, is a menace in help situations, blocking nearly 2 shots a game, gets home more often than not in passing lanes, because it's almost impossible as an offensive player to properly judge how long he is. Makes me think he's got a much longer wingspan.
Yeah.
And then on ball defensive, he's extremely difficult to get around.
Sure.
So definitely sounds like an elite level impact player on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, I think you had a good comparison with Eli. I think Elijah is a very good comparison. I still like the DJ one just because of the plus wingspan, the bounciness, the athleticism. Obviously, a better defender than DJ.
Yeah, sounds like a better on-ball help situation defender. DJ relied a lot on his ability to block shots. So
I feel like this dude's going to be a monster in transition if he ends up at Memphis. That's all. I mean, it just seems like he's going to be a terror.
I can see it. So let me ask you this. If you came away this weekend of the 4 and you could only get 2 of them, what are your 2 you're taking?
I would say definitely Lenard. I think Lenard makes the most sense from a fit perspective.
I think I agree with you.
It is so hard between Amzil and Mills.
Amzil feels similar to the Jourdain commitment kind of to me. And you've already got Chandler. Malco's on the fence, but those are all very similarly sized forwards. Like, are we getting a little crowded down there?
I don't think so. No,
I think Lenard for me is definitely also one. Give me that elite level athletic defensive play, especially if he that's his role and he understands it.
Sure.
Sign me up right now.
I think Mills offers pretty elite size at the guard position at 6'5", especially against in the American. I mean, that 6'5" is usually a pretty good size difference at the guard position. I do think I go after Amzil, though. I think Amzil's one I would prioritize because he offers size and shooting. You don't know if Malcolm's back. Chandler's back, but he's typically more of a 5 than anything. I think he offers you that interior defense that just more so than anyone else I think we've talked about yet.
Yeah.
Not to say Amzil's a poor defender, but it seems like he spends more time kind of not defending the post often. I think if you kind of look at his numbers, it wouldn't support that. But Amzil's my answer. I understand if you would take Mills, though. That's tough.
No, I think I agree with you. I think it's definitely Lenard for sure. And you're right. I think the things that Amzil provides with his size, spot up shooting, we talked about at 95th percentile, the kid knocks down 3 balls when he's spotted up. You need it. And then he shoots the free throws well too. And he gets to the free throw line for a big man. And like you said, he doesn't foul, really. Averages less than 2 fouls a game, which is something that in that position we haven't had in a long, and that's less than 2 fouls a game playing 30 minutes a night. You need that. I mean, I could see getting Mills and having him play the 2 or the 3, but like you said, I don't know that I would want him as a primary ball handler. Quez, I would be fine with, but I think there's just better point guards out there that you could probably get, to be honest.
Sure.
So
better guards overall. Like, I'm trying not to be picky about taking an actual point guard. Like, I know I kind of harped on Quez being a 2 assist guy, whatever, right? I think that you can get away with the guy averaging under 4 assists a game for sure, and still be an efficient basketball team. So,
yeah, especially if you're you posted this earlier, and if you guys aren't in the Discord, sign up TJ and Trey for your promo code to get a little bit of a discount. But we could be making a move back to more positionless, so it's like, I don't know. Do you really need that primary facilitator, or is everybody going to be sharing the ball? Everybody right around there at 2-ish assists a game, 1.8, 1.75. So, anyway,
TJ Cryer just hit the portal too.
right, every day, and right, like
LJ
the rest of this week with the Final Four being over, you're going to keep getting. I mean, what we talked about it, I think it was mentioned the other day. Katie didn't even hit the portal last year till like April 11th. So you're still, I mean, there is plenty of time for other guys to throw their name out there that can be absolute difference makers. I mean, we saw it happen last year. I mean, I don't expect even the next month this roster to be set. We've seen it every year. Into the summer, guys getting added. We saw it with Emmanuel Acott last year. Thought we had him. You get in the middle of summer and he's out of here, right? So you find a piece down the stretch in Countee late. So I would love to have the roster set sooner rather than later. I've said that every year because I think if you've got the team together all summer long, it's going to pay dividends come, which we've seen not so much this past year, but in previous years, the slower starts from the team. So, but that's just kind of the way that it is these days with the portal. So
I'm just saying, if Penny is listening to this podcast, we know you are. I'm going to prioritize Max Abmas. Let me hear me out, Trey. You with me here?
I hear you.
24 points a game, 37% from three on 10 threes a game.
10 threes. I don't.
4.5 assists. Dude, stop. That is
TJ. There were
like Damian
Lillard
type of stuff
last year that we didn't shoot 10 threes as a team in a game.
Well,
I think
Max Abmas. Hear me out. Option 1. Option 2, LJ Cryer.
Okay. There are good guards hitting the portal. Yeah, dude. Amos looking 37% this year, 39% from three last year, 43% the year before that.
It's absurd. But
the kid can shoot the cover off the ball.
It's also guys like that normally don't land at Memphis. They're probably going to go to a blue blood who has an opening. Not to say we don't have a chance. I definitely call that is elite level guard play. They can take you a long way.
You said you were worried about a 6-foot guard.
No, it's okay with him. It's okay. Okay.
Wow, you know what I'm seeing? He didn't even average 2 free throws a game attempted.
I'm okay. It doesn't matter.
That's
I'm
wild.
okay with it.
I know. That was his freshman year. Sorry. I hate ESPN.
Well, I was like, I see 5, dude.
They reverse ESPN. So if you look at it right now, it
says
this order. And then when you click see all career stats, it reverses the order of the years. It's so dumb. Gosh, yeah, 10 threes a game. That's wild.
TJ's wish list is Abmas first, Cryer second. You give me that, I don't care who else is on the roster. You make it happen.
Yeah, Abmas is listed at second overall on 3. 98, a 5-star transfer. $100K in NIL. We're going to run out of NIL money.
Well, yeah, probably. That's probably
good thing Mikey's getting it from other sources.
Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, he's got the whole marketing department thing. That deal with that marketing department.
Yeah.
Rumor has it he's getting $3 million. It's kind of bananas.
3.5.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Here we are. It's supposed to be spring football season, and it's like basketball is just ramping up.
It's
Look
free
what the
agency, man.
portal. Look what
This is wild.
the portal has done. It's year round now. Constant basketball news. We needed it. I hate it, but I love it because I don't like having a brand new team and not knowing what you're going to have going into next year. But then
Well,
from this aspect, to be able to talk about it, get excited, see who's hitting, who you got a chance with, I love that part of it.
it is kind of like not really a downtime in college football. It is spring practice. There's not really much going on. You can't really get a full look at the team, right? They're still working on depth chart. You could go to practice tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, and see one lineup, and you go again on Thursday, and it's a completely different set of guys. It's ever changing. They're still trying to figure it out. Basketball's in free agency mode. It's bananas right now. I get it. Until we get closer to that spring game, it's still kind of basketball season, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I want it to be football season at this point.
I'm having fun with this. All right, anything else basketball-wise?
What were your feelings on Nick Jourdain? I don't know if we talked about it.
We haven't, and we should have mentioned that off the top, that we did get our first full commit in Nick Jourdain out of Temple. I don't know. I'm not, like, super stoked about it, but I think I just need to look into it more. I mean, people will point to him having his best game against us, 16 and 10, his only double-double on the year. But then it's like, how much of that is because of how Penny game plans, right? He's always make somebody else beat us. Don't let their best players beat us. So I'm like, of course he had his best game against us because Penny knew he wasn't going to beat us by himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he feels like a guy that's going to come in and buy in. I've heard people and seen people talk about he makes the hustle play. So, like, you need guys like that. And if that's what he's going to come in and do, I'm all for it. But,
Yeah.
I mean, he shoots 50% from the field. That's decent. But 22% from three, 68% from the free throw line. I mean, he's going to rebound the basketball. But nothing else really. I mean, I don't know. Nothing really sticks out to me, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at his overall stats, he's not doing much on offense, right?
I mean, I'll
he
put
only
it this
took
way.
36 attempts on threes.
I'm fine with it if Malcolm's out. If you have both of them, I don't really know. And then you add Amzil. Like, I know Amzil kind of plays differently than them, but you're just getting up there with a bunch of 6'9" forwards, and you got Chandler already on the roster coming back. Like, feels like one too many to me.
Oh, that's fair. I think he's a safe grab, right? I think if anything, he is at least immediate depth. And perhaps this is a telltale sign that Malcolm may not be back, or maybe they're not favoring well in the center market, and you're going to get more of Chandler and Malcolm at the center, and Jourdain and Ashton and whomever else at the four. Maybe it's for telling. I don't know, but I think defensively he's probably a better defender than he is an offensive player, if that makes sense. I mean, if you look at it, 103 is an okay defensive rating. Defensive ratings are also kind of hard to use because it's more of a team. It's more reliant on like the team's defense, and Temple was not a great defensive team. But last year he was at 97%, or excuse me, a decent defensive rating at 97, which is good. Offensively, he's not good. I'll keep it honest there. 104.6, and you talked about it. The 3-point shot's not falling. Basically 60% from where we at 50% from the floor, so it's like 60 from 2 and then 22 from the 3. It's whatever. I think it's a safe ad. He's definitely a good body. I think this is someone I would probably compare more to how Elijah was, right? Elijah didn't come in with any like mind-blowing stats or anything like that, but he turned out to just be a good team player and made a lot of the hustle plays, to your point.
Yeah. And you need guys like that.
Sure.
So, like, Also, and if this is like a replacement for Jamar Young, I'll take it.
Exactly.
Much better than that, even if it's just for very limited action. So that's all to say. I'm not like in love with it, but I don't hate it necessarily. It's just kind of like a let's see how it turns out.
Let's see. Yeah, I think this is one that a lot of people are kind of like, what? Why? This guy? Maybe it's, hey, maybe it's a package deal for a Temple teammate.
He's not coming, bro.
I know, but I like to just
Can't
keep it
even
interesting.
can't even get a which I'm not. We've talked about it already. I'm not like terribly upset by that. I'm not a big fan of people that leave in the middle of the year in a team sport.
I don't know. I'm not in that locker room, dude. I don't
I
know what.
know, I know, I know, I know. And you say he was on a Dookie team, but I'm just saying, we, not me. Give me
It's
more
fair.
we's, which Jourdain feels like a we, so I'll take him.
All right. Basketball, anything else?
No, we'll watch it. Like we said, bunch of visits this week, and typically when Penny gets somebody on campus, I would say you get at least one. I would be surprised to not get at least one commitment sometime this weekend. If I'm being honest.
It's fair. I feel best about Amzil more than anyone, but we'll see.
All right. Football, not a ton going on, like you said.
Yeah.
Spring practice. I hadn't been able to make it out there since we were out there last weekend. Looking forward to the spring game. I will say, our boy Calvin Austin, we mentioned, is the second coming of Calvin on this roster. Calvin himself was out there at practice yesterday.
Yeah.
So good to see him out there interacting with the squad. Spring game Friday, April 21st, 7 p.m. Simmons Bank. Be there or be a square. If you're not there, we'll have you covered of a full breakdown the Monday after that game. TJ, I'll ask you this. We've talked a lot. I don't want to go into depth about all the battles that are out there, everything we're watching. I'm just going to ask you this. As we head into next season, don't say Seth, any other area. What's the most important position heading into next year?
I'm gonna say safety, honestly.
Wow. Kurt, people, that was not an answer I was expecting out of Timothy Willis.
It's the curveball. That's the curveball. Well, you got to think. Q has been here for how long, right?
He was
feels
born
like
here.
Yeah, it feels like 9 years at this point. Q is gone. He's moved on. He's going to the NFL. You're replacing Q. Last year's starter is officially gone. I think he's at MTSU now. You have two new safeties back there, kind of the captains of the team. Kind of, we talked about it already with Blair. He's taking some serious leadership, really yelling out commands and kind of directing guys.
Got me very. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, go listen to it. Simeon Blair has got me thrilled. I am very excited about the defense with him back there as a leader.
Yeah. So he's basically the quarterback of the defense, right? And I think that the offense has been able to put up points.
He sounds like a defensive coordinator on the field. You remember when you played Pee Wee and your coach was on the field while you played? That's what it feels like with Simeon Blair at safety.
Very fair. You look at it last year, we were able to score points, even though it sounds like we didn't. I'm trying to pull up the exact number for scoring.
It was
offense.
like 35 a ball game.
It was 35 a ball game, which is good for fourth in conference behind SMU, Houston, and Tulane, right? 35, you score 35 points, you should be able to win many games. That's kind of my argument. I think with Blair and Joel is probably who I project to start back there. Two former SEC safeties. I have a lot of faith in them. I think they're really going to kind of help push that defense. We've talked about their leadership and the screaming from Simeon Blair, who's not playing around. I'm actually very excited to see him play. Outside of quarterback, that's where I'm going. I'm going safety. I think they're really going to help lead that secondary and that defense all in all.
All right.
What were you expecting me to say?
I don't know. I think honestly, and what I want to say, I was expecting to say offensive line.
It's an easy one. It's just as easy as
I
quarterback.
know it's easy. I could also say running back. We've talked about it. It feels like there's 5 guys back there again. So I'd like to see one guy step up and be the guy. I feel like I could say wide receiver / tight end. Still just kind of some unknown. I know you added some guys in the portal, but we just hadn't seen anything yet, right? The returning guys aren't wow guys. I mean, you got Skates, who has shown flashes. You got Rock, who has shown a flash here or there. But I think, I mean, I don't have really any concerns defensively, if that makes sense. I don't know why. I feel really confident in the defense. And maybe it's just I'm overhyped because of how pumped up Simeon Blair had me the other day. But I think it's offensive line, truly. I mean, it's the last several years that's been the issue primarily.
Yeah.
It's what stalled drives. I mean, I would say, and I don't know that Seth would say this or has said this, but he's talked about his feet and leaving the pocket too quickly. And I think that boils down to, let's do the 5 whys, TJ. Why? Because the offensive line's not holding blocks. The run game comes down. I don't know that it's a lack of talent in the running back room. Sure, we may not in recent years have had a Kenny Gainwell or a Patrick Taylor or a Tony Pop. Yeah, we may not have a freaking NFL starting running back in the locker room, but that doesn't mean you can't have a 100-yard rusher. I mean, we haven't had a 100-yard rusher in over a year.
No, you're right.
I think that comes down to the offensive line. So to me, I know we've put up 35 points, but there was far too often times in the game where drive stalled or you're trying to end the game and you need a running game to do that, and we didn't have it.
Yeah, it's a good point. You know, we've had really good running backs in the past, but with those running backs also had really good offensive line. Dylan Parham and Dustin Woodard both went to the NFL. I mean, the two coincide with each other, right? And it's not to say that we don't have any NFL talent on this offensive line. You never really know, right? There's some guys are just kind of uncovered gems necessarily. I don't think that Dustin Woodard at 6 foot tall, projected to be drafted and then taken by the Patriots, was able to work out some there. But look, when it all comes down to it, I think things will improve. It's more reps. It's more kind of filling in these empty holes at tackle, I think, is what we project to probably be the replacement points. I think that the inside 3 guys are going to be the same 3. You're pulling in a new tight end. Whatever you think about tight end in terms of its blocking and how big of a role it plays. And perhaps they get more creative, right? Perhaps they pull in an H-back or something like that, some other blocking tight end, someone else to put an extra body out there. Maybe it comes down to just being more creative with your play calling at the same time, right? I don't think it's a talent issue by any means. I think it's more of an execution issue. And maybe with Jeff Myers and Ryan working with the offensive line a little bit more, maybe we'll see some improvement from the running game.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they are on the same page and we see some improvement in the offensive line this year.
This game is getting close, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at. No, San Diego State just cut it to 6. We got a game. They're on a 9-0 run. We got a ball game. All right, you got anything else football before I ask you something else? Directly related to what your background is.
Okay. A lot of visits spring week. I mean, you get a lot of guys in. One I would be very interested in the Tigers landing is 6'6" wide receiver Zamarion Brown. 6'6" is like Carlos Singleton's back. You kidding me? Get the big
Carlos
body
had 3
receiver
inches.
out there, dude.
Carlos had 3 inches on that man.
I know. I just couldn't think of anyone else who was 6'6" that played for the Tigers.
Yeah,
Six
that's
six
true.
plus at wide receiver. Carlos was 6'9". Also a 6'4" wide receiver, Chad Barham. Just another big body wide receiver. Two guys that I'd watch. I'd be curious to see if you could land those two guys. Just position of need kind of going forward, and they're big frames.
Nice. Well, here's to hoping they can land a couple of big body wide receivers and targets for Seth and Tevin going forward. All right. Your background made me think of this. TJ, what's the best Memphis Tigers football helmet?
My answer is probably this one until
That
we went to
one,
that.
really?
Yeah, I love this helmet. Until
I
we went
do
to the
love
spring
that Matt.
practice.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, there is one that they have not ever worn to my knowledge, and I can check to see if they've ever actually worn it. I don't know if they have. But it's like a matte black helmet. Sick.
Yeah.
I don't think they've worn it. What is yours?
It was matte black with the new logo on it.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I think I love that matte gray. Although
This one?
the one that you have there, I like the blue face mask on it.
That's fair. I was trying to check
And
Johnny Memphis on Twitter to see if he had that black helmet on his website.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for too. If you guys haven't, check out Johnny Memphis's site where he keeps up with all of the Memphis uniforms and the records we have, what they've worn, how many times they've worn it.
I really don't think they've ever worn this helmet.
Gosh, I don't want to pick the same helmet as you, but I do love that matte gray with the
it's the best one.
I like the normal. I don't like logo one side, number other side. I like same both
double
sides.
logo.
Yeah. Double logo is the way to go. I would take number both sides, but I think double logo.
I'm convinced we've never worn this helmet. I'm looking through it. I don't see it. I don't see. Ooh, that one may be close. No. Maybe against Tulane in 2021.
I don't think so.
I just see we wore a black helmet.
Ooh, I just found another one that I like. Well, this is like one of my favorite pictures anyway. I'm about to make it my background. Hold on. I loved the uniforms from the 2017 AAC Conference Championship. About to put it up here. You see that?
Oh, that was a good one. That's a nice one.
Anthony and Tony. I love the white with the logo both sides, and then the numbers on the back kind of decently big like that. I think I would like this one better again if it was a blue face mask.
All right, no confirmed. We've never worn these helmets before. I should have taken a picture of it just so we could attach it to this. And I can do one of those things where I'm like, hey, Kenny, can you put the logo up here and like make him drop it in the video? But we've never worn these helmets.
So if you guys are listening or watching, comment wherever what your favorite, what's the best Memphis Tiger football helmet? And we don't even have to be current uniforms. You could go back. A lot of people, the old school Seahawk style one. I wish we had a script. I don't like that one that much. I know people I've heard people talk about it before. I wish we had a like cursive script Tigers helmet.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
also
we
want us to
ever.
wear. I want us to wear a throwback
I
one
won't do it.
periodically, like once a year.
Yeah, I would love the old school pouncer, like the
The cartoony
kind of
one.
cartoony one. I would love to wear that one.
Okay, like this. Gosh, I was gonna save this for an upcoming. We'll do it now. We've gone helmet. What's the best? Oh, it's too. You can't see all of them.
Embarrassing, dude.
What's the best logo?
None of those.
Here, I'm about to make you tiny so the people at home can see. There you go. This one? You want this
Cartoony
one?
one, dude.
I love that logo.
I don't know. I think that the new logo, and this is so dumb that we even talk about this, but like the new logo without the orange, I think just looks better
Oh, it's so much
than
better.
with the orange.
Even look, even the old school
The
MSU,
blue is
I think
lighter
just
too,
blue and
by the
white
way.
looks better than when it had the orange in it. Looks good.
Yeah, it's definitely
All
changed.
right, let's get to this Poppy's pills. You know what I don't like? Like all the color off white or eggshell, whatever you want to call this. It looks
Bone
dirty.
colored.
I don't like it.
Did
Tennessee
you notice
kept
these are
wearing those.
pills?
I did not. That is great. I just assumed it was generic, like just wheat. I like that. That's creative. Tennessee kept wearing those off-white Vols script. They're so off, especially in a uniform. Off-white is disgusting.
I couldn't tell
looks
they
like
were actually white. I thought
it
they were
looks
just
like
white with like orange around them, so it looked dirty.
no, they just look dirty. Like they've been sweating and weren't washed between games. I would probably rate this can higher if it wasn't this like creamy off-white color. Ugh. You pointing
don't
out those
love the
pills
can.
as the wheat though is great.
I think that's unfortunately the best part about it, though. I think it's a pretty boring
It
can.
really is.
Just if you kind of look at it, it's that oatmeal type of color here. It says poppy pills. It's got the pills instead of the wheat. Like that's like the one cool thing. It's an
Other
okay
than that, it
can.
is a.
I'm gonna say a
It doesn't even.
5.8.
It doesn't even look like a beer can, honestly. Like with the script, I don't. It looks like a root beer almost,
I get that. I get that.
or like you had the new Ollie Pops. That's what it looks like. It looks like an Ollie Pop can, the healthy soda. Yeah, I'm not.
What's your can rating?
I'm going 6 flat. I know that's a rookie score, but it's just what it feels like.
Listen to your heart.
It is a
It's
good beer.
calling out
Though.
to you.
I've enjoyed it.
Oh, well, good thing you have that feeling because now it's time to rate the beer.
It's a good Pilsner. Very crushable. I could take a 6er of these to the tailgate. Refreshing. It's lighter. Seven, 8. That's a good beer.
No, you right on par with me. I said 7.6. I could definitely drink multiple of them. It does have a malty taste that
Yeah,
I'm
but it's
having to
not
drink some
overwhelming
water to
by
kind
any
of wash
means.
that out.
I will
but
say
no,
it is
it's good.
very light in color.
It's definitely good. I'd recommend Poppy's Pills for sure.
I would too. I would recommend it. If you haven't tried it, grab a 6-pack.
We actually planned on doing this one like a month ago, and Trey's wife drank it. So we had
TJ and I both have an employees only, Tigers Untapped employees only drawer in our fridges, marked exclusively, and both of us have family that will sneak brews out of that drawer.
It's literally labeled. If I could take my laptop and drag it in there, I would show you that the beer fridge says Tigers Untapped employees. The audacity, honestly.
So, anyway. All right, TJ. Here's to maybe some portal commitments by the time we talk next week.
We need them.
Come with the cold beer, stay for the hot takes. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, please leave a like and a comment wherever you download your podcasts. Head over to bluffcitynil.com for comprehensive coverage of Memphis Tiger athletics. We will see you back here next week.